It is a marvelous Sunday on Comic Book Canon. Get it? Now. That's right. Sunday. We're here. Not Friday. We got lots to discuss. We're just going to get right into it. Chris, my partner in crime, how you doing?
You know, it's Sunday. Feels kind of different being here on a Sunday, but I'm back. I'm warm and cozy. It's officially like, holiday season. And man, I see all these wonderful people already hanging out in the chat.
Yeah, we do have some people here on a Sunday. We got Jordan Nor. We got good friend Dan De La Torre, Miguel.g.comics. And that's all that said hello in the chat. Travis Tubbs, hello. Maybe we'll get some new faces in here. I don't know, but we're happy to be here. I'll tell you what, Chris and I, it was just too much for Chris and I to put together a Friday show with all the Marvel announcements. So we wanted to do it justice. That's why we're here on a Sunday. And I mean, there was a ton of announcements, Chris. And I messaged you, I don't know, maybe the day of or yesterday, I can't remember, just saying, I'm a little underwhelmed by the announcements. And I feel spoiled because I'm saying that. But Chris, you kind of leveled me out. You're like, hold on, this is the deal. Tell everybody what you told me.
What did I?
You said basically this wasn't about just Marvel proper.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Properties. I'm like, you're right. I was more hoping we'd get like a live presentation with Feige, like we did for Investors Day last year. Yeah. Either way, though, we got some amazing announcements, and let's just get right into it, shall we? I mean, there's a ton to talk about in the news here today.
There is, and I will say, you got to remember. I mean, Disney. There's so much. I mean, we're not going to be talking about live action Pinocchio tonight, but I know there's a lot of, especially little kids, families out there that are very happy for live action Pinocchio.
Absolutely. Yeah. Matt Stadge, happy Friday. Glad you said that. All right. Chris, I mean, let's just get into it because we have so much. We're still going to do Fresh from the Comic Shop. We're still going to have our top 10 hottest comics. No interview today. Sorry. The guests were just all super busy with all of this news and about what's happening in a few days in LA, which we'll get to in a hot second. But right now, let's just get into it. MCU goodness, that's right. It started off on Friday with a special presentation. It's basically a 15-minute trailer of what came out this previous year and what's to come this year and next and beyond. And oh my goodness, super, super exciting stuff. And we started off with House of Harkness. That is right. Disney announced Agatha, House of Harkness is officially coming to Disney Plus. WandaVision showrunners Jack Schaefer to write and executive produce. That's a good thing because we all enjoyed WandaVision. Now, there's no release date announced here, but guys, we're going to try and attach some books to these things that probably most of them have left the station already, but if you see them, jump on them because this character is only going to become more popular and more of a mainstay within the Marvel Universe. That's right. It's her first appearance in Fantastic Four, number 94. It's a pretty pricey book right now, but I personally think that this is a good one to invest in. I remember before, if it was the actual character of Agatha before WandaVision came out, a lot of people were speculating. This book was up and down. Now it's pretty much staying solid. Chris, your thoughts on that book?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I just recorded a video that I'll be releasing this week about similar books like this. When you're looking at what they mean to the MCU. We have announcements for a lot of these characters, or we've seen these characters. I think, again, and I always say this, and Jeff, I'm sure you would have the same sentiment. We don't tell anybody what to buy. So, obviously be cautious in any decisions that you make. But the thing with this book and many others are we can't tell the future. We believe that the character Agatha Harkness is probably going to be around a while. So when you think about that, and when you think about how popular her character is now from Catherine's portrayal in WandaVision, you got to look for you might want to look for cool off periods, right? But the question is, when is there going to be a cool off period? We have an announcement for a show. She's going to have her own show now. Maybe she's going to show up in an actual live action film. We don't know where the future is going with this character. So good time, bad time to buy. We can't really tell you that. But look, if you're looking to get in on this book, just be smart.
Absolutely. Again, yes, Chris and I, if you think it's worth it to pay an exorbitant amount of money, in your eyes, it's not, because you're getting value from that. So Chris and I are just giving opinions here. It's not this end all be all. Never is with us. All right, moving on though, Chris. You have the next one, and this one was rumored for quite a while. Chris, what do you got?
Yep. Echo. Echo announcement though for an Echo show which focuses on Maya Lopez, played by Lakewa Cox, I believe that's how you say her name. So this character will be showing up in the Hawkeye series. It's not clear if this will follow Maya before or after the events of that show, Hawkeye show that comes out in November. But of course the series is confirmed now. So yeah, there was rumors at first. We talked about it on the channel with her first appearance in Daredevil #9. And then it was confirmed that the character was going to show up. So again, another situation with this book right now. We got this announcement, and of course the book's going to be, I wouldn't doubt that next week, maybe every book that we talk about tonight, if not, a good handful of them, might be on the top 10 this coming week.
Absolutely, agreed.
Yeah, but again, just like Fantastic Four 94 with Agatha Harkness, this character has been announced. She's been cast. She's going to show up in a show. She has her own show. So, again, is there going to be ebb and flow? Is there going to be cool out periods in between all this? We don't know. And how long is this character going to stay in the MCU? And is she going to be a hit? So again, if you're out to look for this book on the market, be very smart, be patient. And the one thing I'm going to say about all the books that we probably talk about tonight, especially for the more modern books, don't be so fixated on graded books. Don't be so fixated on graded books. Look for deals on raw copies that you can possibly press and clean.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of speculation because it's part of the story early on in the books. Daredevil and Kingpin are involved in her origin. So there's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumor, a lot of things happening with those characters, especially with Spider-Man No Way Home around the corner with all of the rumors. So we shall see on that one. But we do know this next character this was announced last year at Disney Investor Day. That's right. It's Ironheart. She's great. Honestly, I think she's a fantastic character. Riri Williams. Well, we finally got a show logo. That's a beautiful looking logo. Very similar to what we see in the comics. The series stars Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, a genius inventor who creates the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. Now, there's no official release date announced with a lot of these shows, but we are hoping to see her soon. Her debut will be in Black Panther 2. And another one that was rumored, Chris, this is the next one here, and a lot of people are seriously pumped about this one, and I do not have a lower third for it, but I promise you it's true. It's Marvel Zombies. Let's take Ironheart down, though, shall we? Marvel Zombies, that is right. This is a new announcement, but again, this was speculated on as a possible film. This is the synopsis they've released. The animated series from Marvel Studios reimagines the Marvel Universe as a new generation of heroes battle against an ever-spreading zombie scourge. It's presumably continuing where the What If episodes left off. We shall see, though. That would be a lot of fun if we actually got that.
Yeah,
Chris, another book to look out for. It could have left the station already, but it's Ultimate 421. This book really has gotten hot since that What If series. Actually, no, not before the What If series. The trailer kind of put this book on the map. Let's talk about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think the Ultimate comics get as much love as they deserve for a couple of reasons. One, and I haven't read it all, but a lot of it they're good. There's good stories out of the Ultimate Universe. There really is. And another thing to really point out, the MCU is heavily focused on a lot of the Ultimate Universe. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting how, even at the, with the MCU being around for 13 years now, I don't think there's enough love, as much love as there should be there for some of these books. The Marvel Zombies book is one that, of course, I think it's going to hang around for a long time because zombies are so just popular. So when you tagline Marvel with zombies, it's this double punch in my humble opinion. And that's why it's always been like the series in the comic book, Marvel Zombies. They're stamping that this is their brand of it. So I absolutely think that this show is going to be a hit. And I don't see this book having a real cool off up until the show. And then if the show is a hit, again, I think this is one of those modern books that is going to stick around and hold solid value. The only way I think this book would ever come down again is if it's like a total flop, which I don't think that can happen. I don't. That's my opinion, though.
And especially what we saw from What If. But yeah, super excited about that. And guys, put some questions.
I do want to. Hey, Jeff, real quick though.
Yeah.
I think you may have said this too. That episode. Did you not? Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm. But I think some other people said it too. It's like, did you say you wanted more out of that episode? Yeah. Remember?
It really felt rushed. Everything felt completely rushed with that episode. I wanted to see more. What happens to all of these characters?
And now we're getting it.
We are getting it. So that's really exciting stuff. I'm definitely happy. I hope most of you guys are too. If you guys have questions or comments, maybe we'll try and address them at the end of the show, depending how long the show goes. But we would love to hear exactly what you're saying. We'll obviously pop your references or comments in, as we go along. But if there's anything else you want to talk about, but Chris, you really want to talk about this one? What do we got?
I really want to talk about one of my top, I would say 3 out of Friday. Moon Knight. First look at Moon Knight. Wow. So first off, they're describing the series as what might be the most grim and heady Marvel Studios venture thus far. So, I mean, if you guys saw the little, sneak trailer snippet, wow, I was blown away. I watched it like 3 times in a row. The synopsis they got is as states: a new globe-trotting action-adventure series featuring a complex vigilante who suffers from dissociative identity disorder. The multiple identities who live inside him find themselves thrust into a deadly war of the gods against the backdrop of modern and ancient Egypt. Oh, man. I mean, you can see from these stills right here. But I think Oscar Isaac, we already have the shows that have been released, Emmy nominated. I think Oscar Isaac and team. I'm out. I'm mumbling over my words because I'm just like, I can't wait for this. Production did wrap last month. It will be releasing in 2022. No official release date yet, but my goodness, Jeff.
It left me wanting more, and that's exactly what this is supposed to do. Like this is the I mean, there was a leak of the costume, but this is the most we got in an official capacity right here. You can see the cowl at the top that kind of comes down like in a corner. You can see just the cape just flowing. I mean, that shot of him jumping across a building, jumping from building to building, and he's just got the silhouette in front of the moon. I mean, come on. I mean, what more can we ask for with it? I'm psyched. I mean, granted, we got probably less than 30 seconds of footage, but it looks extremely promising, especially from that synopsis. And I really, really cannot wait. And there's, again, more stuff. We're going to be saying this all the way through the list. I can't wait for this, can't wait for that, but really can't wait for Miss Marvel. We all seen, production stills. We've seen what her costume looks like. We got a few, new looks as well. And we saw her official logo before. That's nothing new. We got some cool images. Obviously that's her looking at a mask because that's probably leads to somehow her current day costume. We all know she is a Captain Marvel fan, super fan. As you can see from this still here, I hope you all don't confuse this still as her official costume. This is just a corny ass cosplay costume for Captain Marvel. I assure you, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but I mean, come on, there's no way that is her official costume because we've already seen stills of what she has coming up. It's releasing in mid 2022. They said Q4, and I'm wondering if that's business year Q4, if that is, because it was on an investor call. Business year Q4 is the end of June, I think, right? Is that right? Yes. So it may be early summer that we see this. I'm confused of it, but if it's proper Q4 2022, that's a year out. I don't think they're going to be waiting a year out because this has to come out before Captain Marvel's sequel. Yeah. But again, super psyched. I'm also super psyched for Secret Invasion. I mean, this is basically looks just like the comic book in terms of the logo. Talos and Nick Fury lead this crossover comic event series that showcases a faction of shape-shifting Skrulls who have been infiltrating Earth for years. Again, no official date set to release, but hopefully, sometime in 2022. But we did get to see Mr. Nick Fury without his eye patch
Sick.
and all of that goose kind of inflicted wound right there with the I don't know. It's nice. He's just going.
I'm loving the scruff goatee there too, man.
I'm wondering. Here's the deal, Sam Jackson. I love Marvel movies. You love Marvel movies. Most of you guys in the chat here, the audience, that love Marvel movies. But holy shit, like that is one of the worst goatees ever. Like you could tell it's completely fake. This looks like it's his actual hair. So I'm excited about that. Anyways, that's my analysis on Nick Fury's goatee. Chris, you got the next one that, hey, are you super excited about it? Because I know I am.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of stain around this for a lot of us in the comic community because of, sources stating what things are to be or what aren't to be. But, everything we're talking about right now, guys, is official from the horse's mouth. We're talking about She-Hulk. We got, again, first looks at the She-Hulk show, reviewing the synopsis. She-Hulk follows Jennifer Walters, Tatiana Maslany, a lawyer who specializes in superhuman-oriented legal cases. She-Hulk will welcome a host of Marvel characters to the series, including the Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo, who we saw in the little teaser clip hit. Abomination, Tim Roth coming back. We knew that was happening. This is being scripted as a comedy. I think most of us knew that. And this is, of course, coming to Disney Plus next year as well in 2022 with no official release date. We got in this little teaser snippet, we got
got some looks here. And they're this is the definition of teaser, as you can see.
Yeah, right.
Got this?
Just back.
We got this and a few other, not that much. You saw a little bit of actually the Hulk kind of coaching Jennifer Walters, et cetera, et cetera. But this, Chris, I enjoyed this thoroughly because it's a callback to the David Banner days of the Hulk, the original TV show. I don't know what this is, but it looks like it's shot in the 70s where she turns to camera and says, "You won't like me when I'm angry." And come on, that's a straight up referencing the 70s, the classic 70s Incredible Hulk show with Lou Ferrigno. But also, Chris, the books we're going to be looking out for, again, this one has left the station.
Yeah, you got Savage She-Hulk #1, her first solo series and first appearance. Such a good dual combination. So, of course, that's going to be the big book. That book has been moving. Again, you look at success of the show, longevity of the character, but even with ebb and flow, this was a character and a Bronze Age book that I don't think got as much love as it should have for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And absolutely,
I will say one thing too, because again, having my ear to the community, to forums and social media, so many people in their real ignorance and lack of knowledge around comics, because there was so much, now we're making a female Hulk now. Stan Lee is probably rolling over in his grave. Guys, Stan Lee created She-Hulk, so let's just put a period on that and put that to bed.
Come on, dude.
I do want to talk about Sensational She-Hulk #1 though as well. So again, if you're
John Byrne,
if you're priced out of Savage She-Hulk, this book right here, because what we know, we already had confirmation that this show is heavily based in the kind of how do you call it?
Breaking the fourth wall.
There you go, breaking the fourth wall. That just the banter, that was on display in this run. So even though this is maybe a second tier key of She-Hulk, I think it is going to be important because it actually pertains to what we're going to see in the series.
Yeah, I agree again. And this is kind of where the humor was brought into She-Hulk. Literally it says, buy this issue or I'll come over and rip up your X-Men comics. That's breaking the fourth wall right there. First one out the gate. John Byrne's classic run. But yeah, this one, and also a lot of people like searching for the final issues of series because those are lower printed issues. So, be on the lookout for, I can't remember exactly what the final issue of this series is, but it's a great series. And I'm psyched. I'm psyched to see something. I want to see more. That's what they did great about this whole thing. They left us wanting to see more. And this one coming up, came out of left field, and I want to see more about this one. That is right. We got Spider-Man freshman year. What is this? What? That's right. Spider-Man freshman year. Now the synopsis here. Spider-Man freshman year follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man in the MCU. That's right. This is the official synopsis, people. With a journey unlike we've ever seen and a style that celebrates the character's early comic book roots.
Yes.
Chris, I mean, we all know, we've all seen Spider-Man's origin. We saw it in the Sam Raimi film. We saw it in the Amazing Spider-Man films, which were garbage. They kind of went the route of the Hulk in a way, in terms of the Incredible Hulk in the MCU, where they didn't touch upon his origin. They just started this, in Civil War, he was there. He was just there. And they threw tidbits here and there of his origin, how he became who he was, working with Tony Stark. This is going to be great because we'll finally see the MCU version, kind of like what led up to that in cartoon. And I'm so psyched for this one. I am so psyched for this one.
I think this is so, you've had, since Civil War came out in 2016, remember we were 2 years out of the last Amazing Spider-Man film. We were only 4 years out of the last time we saw Spider-Man's origin story from the first Amazing Spider-Man film. And we were only, we weren't even a decade quite out from the last of the Sam Raimi trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was all for how they brought in Spider-Man. You already have a universe that point in time was going on for 8 years. How do we inject this character and make it work? You still had a lot of fans over the last, what has it been, 5 years now that, well, where's Uncle Ben? And which I get, and I'm with that. And so this, to me, this is the perfect way to go pull away from the live action. You're still not doing it in live action. You're doing it in an animated way with the ability to make it fresh and new and still now go and revisit. So my questions are, okay, are they going to start the series and watch it play out where he becomes Spider-Man? I personally don't even think they're going to do that. I'm thinking he might already be Spider-Man in his like fresh few days, but then they kind of go back and do what do you call it?
Recap, rehash,
flashbacks to recaps where they're in, and I think we are going to see some Uncle Ben
in the MCU
play out there too. So I am absolutely excited for this. It's such a fresh take, in my opinion. There's still, and again, I know we haven't seen it yet. This is my assumption of how it's going to be. They are still taking the right approaches to being able to dive into the depths of his origin without just carbon copying what we've seen so many times before.
And I love this. We don't need, honestly, even younger kids know how Spider-Man got his power, so we don't need to dive into that whole thing. It's wasting a story. So anyways, but yeah, this is great. By the way, Mojo Quid, so good to see the stream up. I needed some good comic vibes today. Long story short, I can scratch dispute with neighbors over trees on the property line off the bucket list. Listen, we're glad you're here and glad you can scratch that dispute. Those are nasty. Those disputes, that's so annoying. So annoying. So we feel for you right there. We absolutely feel for you. Hey, Comic Toby is kind of teasing something here. Anyone see the old announcement on the X-Men Reprise? Chris, I did you know anything about X-Men 97? What?
Comic Toby must have knew what was rolling out next.
He totally knew it. He teased.
You know what? Comic Toby has an inside source.
Oh,
X-Men 97. So I'll tell you guys. X-Men 97. Spider-Man freshman year. Moon Knight. My top 3 Marvel pieces from Friday. We, knew this was happening, probably. I mean, it was all rumor. The original creators were being interviewed and they're like, yeah, we would love to, to do this. I watched, there was a panel of the original voice casting, and rest in peace, I forget his name, Cyclops. He passed away, I think, earlier this year, unfortunately. But, they were asked on a panel in 2019 about, would you guys be willing to come back? And, they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So fans are on board, and we finally get this. So for those that don't know, the original animated series that launched in 1992 ran until 1997. I have every episode on DVD, by the way.
What's DVD?
What's DVD?
I'm just kidding.
I still have VHSs, but anyways, and a VCR. So basically, it's picking up right where it left off. It's set to release sometime in 2023. right? And we don't. There have been a couple other cast members that have passed away, but I'm hoping whoever is still here and can come back to do the voices, I hope they do. And I'm sure for those that are unfortunately not able to, I'm sure Disney and Marvel will do the right thing by finding some really awesome voice characters. There was a tweet.
Yeah, this is great. This is absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, like this is meme, right? This is meme status. You see a lot of this tweet out there. You know, sad Wolverine looking at a picture of something, and somebody puts. But the fact that Disney did this to their own property, I love it.
Yeah.
We've missed you too. See you in 2023 with all new episodes. I mean, that is just, I love that. Chris, this is another announcement. I have to say, this did not really come out of left field because there were rumblings about this, people talking about this. Again, Spider-Man freshman year came out of nowhere. But this is super exciting. This is a beloved series. This is how like we see it all the time on broadcasts or on other people's shows. How like, oh, this is how I got into comics by watching that X-Men series in the 90s. Like it's a classic, and it's going to be treated with with the love and care that we all had watching it. I have no doubt about that. No doubt.
I should have said too. And it's already been there's already been talk. X-Men Adventures #1 comic book that's based off the original series, which I collected as a kid. That book has already been getting hot. So definitely some speculation around those that you might be able to find in some random dollar bins or back issue bins. But I wanted to add to this real quick. And, I thought about if I even wanted to talk about this, because I always like to be very professional and not feed the trolls. But because over the last few weeks, we've had to really discuss, some issues to our viewers and our fans on how to be able to differentiate, valid sources, credible sources from rumor or just speculation with no basis, and fleshing those things out. I just wanted to bring up that I find it kind of laughable. I don't like to laugh and be cynical, but there was a Twitter feud. I don't know, Jeff. I think weren't we talking about this?
We were talking about it this week. I'm not bringing it up, but yeah.
Yeah, there was a Twitter feud about who dropped this information first. All right, it was, and I'm not even saying any names, but it was utterly.
I don't care. Let's just say it. It's flat out because it's. Well, anyways, look it up. I'm not gonna say it. That's fine.
Yeah. Go look it up. You guys that watch the show probably already know. But it's like, first off, the first thing that comes into mind, and I'm just saying this again for you guys to be educated, watch how people interact, okay? Watch how people interact. But the thing that's funny is that there was no confirmation. I don't care who broke what. There was no confirmation of this show until Friday. And you know who confirmed it? Disney. All right. And so that's what I want you all to take out of it. If you go on Twitter and you see this feud, this measuring stick, measuring contest of sticks, just remember that anything that came before, even if it was from a viable source, was merely rumor or speculation until Disney broke their own news on Friday. So again, I just want everyone to be mindful of how you take in your information.
I mean, if you don't have somebody on record saying as such, it's not an exclusive. I'm going to give props to somebody. Humberto Gonzalez he is a well respected journalist in this field. He breaks news stories. He's built up relationships within the community, within the studios. So he is a trusted source, and he is one that breaks news. So I just want to say that. But that's not what this is about, Chris, because we have one more thing that we cannot gloss over here. I was a little disappointed in one thing. We are getting Book of Boba Fett in a month and a half, I'd say. Trying to do the math right here. We got a little something for Star Wars. Not enough to quench my thirst, but it's still pretty good. Chris, talk to me.
Yeah, man. Obi-Wan Kenobi, first look. No, not a teaser trailer, unfortunately, but we got some concept art, Absolutely amazing. Just I am so excited for the show because it's going to bring us back to an era of Star Wars that like most of us grew up on. Series does begin production, or excuse me, series began production in April. It's set to release sometime in 2022. We got all this massive stuff coming out in 2022, right? So basically, Ewan McGregor talked about how the show will showcase his role in keeping young Luke safe, talked about being reunited with Hayden Christensen, which is going to be absolutely amazing, and hinted at a possible lightsaber duel between his old Padawan. But look at this art. Look at this art.
I mean, that's incredible. That's that. And I've heard some interesting opinions on this. People a little bit upset about having more added on to the Obi-Wan Darth Vader story, having kind of like tarnishing the effect of that last fight that they had between Anakin and Obi-Wan that basically created Darth Vader. I kind of trust the teams that are putting this together, Chris. Yeah. I'm excited to see how they're going to do. I want to see another duel between Obi-Wan and Darth. I want to see how it makes sense, leads into A New Hope, or whatever it is. I want to see that. And I have complete faith that the teams, the production teams putting this together are going to just do it justice.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I understand, with what happened with the sequel trilogy, most importantly, in my opinion, The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson coming in and waving his ego around. And I understand people being
You're so mad about that. You and I do not see eye to eye on that. But I respect your opinion. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's easy to say, regardless of what you felt about that film, Rian Johnson admitted he didn't even watch Force Awakens, and he came in wanting to do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah.
But we should have a comic book canon show where we just talk about the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
The whole show, yeah. You want to do that?
That means no Fresh from the Comic Shop or top 10 hottest comics. People like those segments. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, maybe on a dry news week, we'll do that instead of news.
There we go. Yeah, but, actually, not a bad idea to have a kind of a roundtable discussion. We'll bring
there you go.
See what they think.
All the Star Wars fans will be excited about
that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But look, I mean, look, regardless of what you thought about what Disney's done, what Disney did with that trilogy. We've seen what's been going on over the last couple of years with the Disney Plus shows. We got Ewan McGregor back. Regardless of what you thought about Hayden Christensen in the prequels, I'm with you, Jeff. I want to see more of this. And remember that scene where he turned into Darth Vader. That's not the last time we saw them, because we saw him in the original A New Hope, in 77, which obviously took place after that. So I think it's going to add context to why Obi-Wan kind of let himself go into the Force in 40 plus years ago in that first Star Wars film, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Either way, going back to what I originally said, I'm kind of going past it, but I'm just upset that we didn't have more Star Wars announcements.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
But I feel spoiled because I'm like, man, I want more stuff. I want to see more stuff. I want to hear more stuff. I want more announcements. But let's be honest, man, we are living in a great day and age of this content. Most of you all watching here never expected to be living in a day and age where you can almost not keep up with your favorite characters and what shows they're going to be in when they're coming out. Et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot of fun. I'm super grateful to be able to be here talking with you guys about this stuff, and you, Chris. So anyways, that is our Disney Day Plus kind of recap. We got 30 people here watching on a Sunday night. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. But we got other stuff to talk about, don't we, Chris? We got other things to do with our typical comic book canon show. Chris, what do we have coming up next here?
I'm excited, maybe more excited than ever for this week's Fresh from the Comic Shop.
That's right, Fresh from the Comic Shop, where we ask you all to show us your fresh gets each and every week. They could be 2 days old, they could be 20 years old, but if they're fresh in your collection, they are fresh from the comic shop. We want to see them. That's right. All you need to do is send us a picture through Instagram, tag us at Comic Book Canada. But most importantly, Chris, hashtag FFTCS. That's right, FFTCS, because this is fresh from the comic shop. One thing we have to say, we are still deciding how we're going to go about a prize this month, but there still will be a prize this month. And knowing that, we're going to announce our semi-finalist winner, which is, you guys know him, you love him. He was one of our guest co-hosts last week. That is right, 360 Comics with the Silver Surfer #2 over Caution Comics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So thanks all for submitting. Y'all keep submitting too. I mean, we got some great submissions this week, Chris. We have some great ones. And this is a former winner right here, Sicilian Comics. I do believe he's in the chat. Let's see. I don't know. Hey, but before we do it, Funhouse Comics, Nori Jordan. Yes, it is. Fresh from the comic shop. It's time. All hail Feige. Agreed. Mark Leneker, very happy to have you all here on a Sunday night. Again, very happy. All right, here we go. So let's just start it off with Sicilian Comics. That is right. Moon Knight #3. First appearance of Midnight Man, published in January of 1981. Is this Sienkiewicz? I do believe this is a Sienkiewicz cover, correct, Chris?
Yeah, it looks like it, and I know he was doing some of those early Moon Knights.
I mean, it doesn't look like his style, but he obviously came into his own eventually because he is a legend, absolute legend. Neighbor to the North. Well, this one's interesting, guys. Well, today I made the biggest trade I have ever done. My 9.8 candidate, Ultimate Fallout #4, left my collection today. Wow. He said, and a few others. Not sure what those are. For these beauties, I was sad to see it go, but I'm happy to have 3 books I've been searching for. These are not fresh from the comic shop, but definitely certified fresh from the comic shop. I think they're fresh in his collection.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he had another UF4 in his collection.
I mean, yeah, I like what he got here, okay? I mean, Chris, I may be crazy, but I think the highest upside out of all 3 are it's the Young Avengers.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, I even though I think right now the Spider-Gwen, there's a lot of hype I think right now on that character, but for longevity, I agree with you, and very interesting. I don't know what I think about that trade. That's why I asked. I wonder if he has another UF4. Because if he did, then I think
agreed.
He diversifying,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, either way, great gets. Those are amazing gets. This one I love to see, guys. He is not eligible to be another winner for Fresh from the Comic Shop because he already won. SuperCrispy.comics. Today's Fresh from the Comic Shop is from the homies at Comic Book Cannon. Last month I won this 9.8. Something is Killing the Children #1 slab book. By the way, everybody, this is the local comic book shop day version, not the original, not the first print. It is my first slab book, actually. Thank you, Jeff and Chris. I appreciate your guys' show and watch every Friday. My kid, hopefully you're watching now, by the way. My kids already know if you're not going to watch it with me, then keep it down so I can hear my show. Yes, we really appreciate that. That means a lot. It really means a lot. We're very happy you have that. You're a talented man with your woodwork, leatherwork, et cetera, Keep it up. Keep sending those submissions in. Into Oblivion, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man #60. Origin is retold in this issue. Chris, that looks like a Frank Miller cover.
Oh, no.
It really does. We got to look into this, guys. Or if anybody in the chat knows that this is Frank Miller, please, I'm curious. I just brought this up to Chris. I'm sure he's curious.
I'm wondering, it might be Milgram. I know Frank.
I don't know, man. Look at that line work, dude.
Frank and Milgram were doing that run right around that time.
We got to look this up. Chris, we have to look this up. All right. But that's a great get there, Into Oblivion. Matt Stadge, creator of Watlock. Great find today. My first single-digit Spidey, probably around a 3.5. And as Journal Comics would say, presents well. Absolutely. That is next t-shirt, by the way. Presents well. I would love for you to make that happen. All right. Marvel Man 616 Comics. I really like this cover here, guys. I really like this cover. Hulk 1, the Hulk 181 homage cover featuring She-Hulk and X-23, a.k.a. the all-new Wolverine. Hands down, this has always been my favorite store variant. Cover art by Ed McGuinness, and store variant from the Hall of Comics. That is such a cool cover, man. That is such a cool cover.
I regret. Yeah, I wish I would have picked one of those up.
Yeah, it's outstanding. Well done there. All right. House of L Comics. What do you got? You've got. This is a cool cover as well. Yeah. Miles Morales 25 Greg Horn cover just got back from CGC. I love this cover. I mean, that's really, really a cool cover. Really a cool cover. I've never seen that before, by the way. Sorry. All right, Son of Comics, and I love this cover too. Got like a hat trick here of cool covers. Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters #1, CGC 9.8. Chris Sprouse Virgin variant dropping some Star Wars love. I can't wait for Boba Fett series. I'm sure you can't either, but that is a really, really great cover. All right, E. Marvell, he brings some interesting books our way. This is an indie book, and he just shoots it so well.
Yeah.
And where is... Oh, there he is. This has been a low-key banger from the beginning. Cullen Bunn is killing the game, not to mention this issue #3. Sold out local here in Michigan fast. I had to order from eBay. Dark Horse Comics has a movie-quality story by Cullen that can be developed into something bigger. I'm not familiar with this book, but good stuff. And again, guys, we'll get into the criteria of how to, move on fresh from the comic shop in the competition here. This is one of the ways, composition, way you compose your shot. Excellent, excellent stuff. We got, I'm sorry, I'm lost here. All right, no, Miguel.g.comics. Look at this one, guys. Hey, everyone, I've been away for a few weeks due to work, but here I am again with a great book that arrived yesterday. This is now the oldest book in my collection, while it definitely seems that I'm going for a long Avengers run. Yeah, man, that is a nice pickup right there. I'm not sure what number it is. I should have looked before I posted it. But and I'm not sure if that's Jack Kirby.
It's definitely single digit.
Then it's got to be Kirby, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a nice pickup there at Miguel.g.comics. Thank you for sharing with us. Chris, please share your first fresh get of the week.
Well, Jeff, I was talking with you about, I was saying, Jeff, I need some good mojo, because I was in communication with some folks about obtaining a collection. An older couple, I was communicating with the wife. The husband was ready to part with his childhood collection. And it was great. And I got it, obviously. So I'm going to show off a few of those today. The first one, lots of Spidey stuff, which I love. Marvel Team Up 65. First appearance of Captain Britain in U.S. Comics. So this is definitely a nice one to have in really nice condition. I did not have this in my collection, so this was a super, super awesome grab. Really nice condition. Most of them weren't in bags and boards either, but still, I was very impressed. It was funny because it was mostly silver and bronze age stuff, and the older the stuff, the more beat up they were. So I'm thinking, like, as when he was younger, as a younger kid, he handled his comics worse, and as he got older, he started taking a little better care of them, and that's kind of was the theme of the lot.
and most importantly, Chris, that presents well.
It does.
But Here's the deal. Like, honestly, Chris called me about this collection before he got it. I feel like in your voice, you're like, something's going to go wrong here. I don't think this is going to pan out. Are you worried to jinx it or something? I'm so glad it came through, because he's got some crazy issues in there. And I think he put a video up yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yep. So anyways,
I did. Go check it out after the show. Don't watch
after the show. We're not done here, guys, because we got fresh from the comic shop and then top 10 hottest comics of the week. Moving on. We got Vinny Whitlock. He always brings it, right? And he had a better one than this that I just didn't have time to replace, but this is a very nice one right here. Swamp Thing #50, the first appearance of the Justice League Dark. His friend Stacy Cherry bought this for my birthday on Friday, November 12th, but I love an early birthday mail call. Thank you, Stacy Cherry. It's amazing. Hey, first of all, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
For, always being part of this community, always throwing stuff our way. And, we hope you had a great day on your birthday, which was Friday. All right, moving on, everybody. Mark Leneker. Chris, what are the odds that it's like from 1950, pre Comics Code, et cetera, et cetera? What are the odds?
I would say probably 70-30.
70-30 that it is a book. From,
Yeah, is that fair?
Well, you're wrong. No.
Oh,
I hope Jeff and Chris won't be too disappointed. I submitted something less than 50 years old 2 weeks in a row, but I've been on a Copper Age Spidey kick. These were during the 90s Clone Saga when Peter thought he was Ben and Ben thought he was Spidey. There were 2 extra clones hanging around. No one knew Norman Osborn was alive, and Natty was really Marianne. It was a mess, but Planet of the Symbiotes and Spider Carnage made for great covers and fun reading. Glad to finally have them. We're glad that you have them too. That top left, that's a great cover, by the way. But yeah, it was a bit convoluted in the 90s with Spider-Man and those clone sagas and everything else. So anyways, glad you got that. Here we go. We got Comic Toby 420. Happy belated Halloween. My new comic is Crush versus Lobo, number 6. I have the complete collection of variant covers, and I will be buying the graphic novel soon. Sadly, the way the comic market is trending, I am too worried of opening the pages and actually reading them. Get the digital downloads. It's totally worth it, Toby. Totally worth it. 100%. Good pickups right there. By the way, we got confirmation, everybody. That is not Frank Miller. You said it, Chris, and Mr. Dan De La Torre. That's Al Milgrom. Man, those just the lines. It looks very, very, very much like Frank Miller. All right, moving on though. Let's just do me. I'll do my first fresh get of the week. I live in New York. My office is in New York City. I actually went to the city for the first time. Probably this is the 4th time within the past year. And I hit Midtown Comics up, and I Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. And I got some good ones, guys. And they're so good, I forgot to put them in bags and boards. But this is Venom. I'm excited to read this. Venom #1, the Inyok Lee variant. I'm digging this variant right here.
wow.
Very, very nice cover right there. So that is my first fresh get of the week. Very fresh. I have to read it, and I have to protect it as well. Bag and board your comics, people. Bag and board your comics. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What do we got next, Chris? What do we got? We got T-Shoe. Monday's mail call brings my Midlight Crisis Grail down to 1. So happy that the Mark II is finally in the house once again. The Crisis Grail run down to 1. So I guess he's looking for one more Grail.
Wow.
And we're happy you got this one, though. And I like the setup here with the old Iron Man armor. Absolutely outstanding right there. All right, Chris, I threw one, kind of threw you for a loop when it came to Mark Lenneker. We got Cover Junkie Comics. What are the odds that we got a Doom cover?
Well, out of the last month, I think there was at least 2 that weren't Doom.
He's been more frequently putting up non-Doom covers.
Right. Oh God, man. I'm gonna say it's something else. I'm gonna say it's multiple books.
I think he may have cheated, but whatever. Here we go. It is multiple books.
But there's Doom.
It does count. With fresh, where is he? Fresh from the comic shop with just a handful of this week's haul. Couldn't pick just one, so here are a few of my books, my favorites. He got some good stuff here, man. Look at the first Omega Red back there too. Punisher Warzone. He's got some Kazar. He's got Silver Age there. Good stuff, man. I'm glad he's branching out into other books other than Doom covers. But we know you are diversified. All right, moving on. Nerds being geeks. I mean, come on, guys. Follow his YouTube channel. Click down below. We'll cancel Comic Book Canon if you don't. It's not really true, but I don't know. I love this. Ooh. I'm sorry. I love this.
Oh my God.
I love this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures number 23, written by Dean Claren with art by Chris Allen. This is the first comic book appearance of Slash the Turtle. With the book, I have my NECA official turtles in time/figure, along with 4 turtles. If you watch my videos, you'll recognize that they are all sitting on my Arcade 1-Up official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade. This was a recent claim sale pickup from Cody James Lockwood, Friday Night Comic. Claim sales on Facebook. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. But guys, what we say is, unique book, well-composed shot, and a great story. I mean, that kind of has all 3, Chris, and I really like this. I like what he did, and he has not won yet. He's a Comic Book Canon alumnus, guest, a co-host, alumnus, but he has not won, and that really sticks out to me. This next guy, though, is not only a guest, he's also one as well. We got Kamikaze. What's a spectacular cover by Rose Besh? I said, what a spectacular cover by Rose Besh. I'm a big fan of her work. This one does not disappoint. Guys, again, Kamikaze is a perfect reference on how to compose shots. Look at how well lit this is. It's accenting the fire mohawk hair. I just everything is great about this. Good job, Quentin. We love you. Absolutely fantastic submission right there. Next up, we got 360 Comics. He's moving on to the finals for this month. What does he got here, though? I'm liking this as well. This is well composed too. Got Doom, and he has a little milk emoji. This is a book that sells immediately whenever I get one in. So I picked up 6 higher grade copies from Toy and Comic Heaven. This week, I'm going to submit at least a few of them to CGC and keep the rest raw. In my opinion, not a single other Marvel character compares to Doom when it comes to making a cover attractive. Look, Cover Junkie Comics he's going to agree with you there. I have to as well. Chris, I mean, look at this. That's cool. That's a Bob Layton cover too, I do believe. I love me some Bob Layton.
I'm thinking. Yes, I do have that book. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, of course you do. I'm not surprised.
But I couldn't figure it out before a minute. But I remember buying it now from A1 Comics. I don't know how long ago, but
yeah, the more comics you get, the more you kind of forget what you have.
I do have a what is it called? Oh my God. See, I have brain farts as well, but I have a photographic memory.
Yeah,
I'm very good at if I see it, I know I have it for the most part.
Okay. Well, you forgot that one, but I'm not knocking you. But I hope you didn't forget what you picked for your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right. Oh, which one to do first? I don't know.
It's going to be, honestly, man, it's just going to be awesome. And I know it. Not that it's a knock on you.
All right. I'll do this one. This was a book that I don't know. I think we all often say there are books that we don't think we can ever have, but then we do things and we put our minds and the powers that we have, or whether it comes to finances and saving money and setting money aside, or however we do to will the comic books that we want in our collection. And then we're grateful to finally get them. And this was one of those that I just am so grateful to have. And again, this is one of the older ones that came out of this collection. Remember what I said? All the 12-cent and 15-cent and even like the 20 cents were like pretty beat up. But this was a 15-center that was like immaculate. I mean, I would have to say at least like a 7.0 without a press. Amazing Spider-Man number 100. The 100th anniversary issue. So now I have every issue in Amazing Spider-Man from issue 99 to the end, 450 something or whatever. Classic
cover, and I'm glad you got it. I'm very glad you got that one. All right. I'm also glad for these other ones right here too. Who's up next? My God, guys. I'm sorry. We got another one. This one I like too. You know why? Because he's not eligible to win, but he's sharing something that he's sharing something he got from us. What do you think that is, Chris?
Oh, CT.
I wanted to give a big thanks to the guys at Comic Book Cannon, Jeff and Chris, for this dope giveaway I won a couple months back. As a Star Wars fan, this goes straight to the PC, but I can't forget to thank everyone who voted. Y'all, the real MVPs. Kevin Durant reference. Yeah, man, we're happy to make you happy. Sorry it took so long to get it out. Chris and I are literally trying to juggle our daily lives and do the show. This isn't a boo-hoo, wah-wah, but we did our best to keep in touch with you, and we're glad it is in hand, and you're very happy, and it's staying in hand. So very happy for that. Congratulations as well. Raw Dog Comics. Oh, what a glorious homage to some children's books I had when I was a kid. Twisted Ice Cream Man, number 20. First, second, and third printings. Collect what you love. Thanks, Comic Fam. Good stuff, Raw Dog. Good stuff. You are a good human being from St. Louis.
Is that a blanket?
It is. That's a good call.
That's dope.
How did I not notice that? I'm liking that setup. That really is. The lighting's pretty good too. Excellent stuff there. All right. former winner right here, April X Divisions, Captain America 314 Team Up. This is, I think, in tribute to Veterans Day. It's really good stuff. And we're just going to go straight to her husband, who also is a winner as well. Posting for Veterans Day, G.I. Joe #1 Order of Battle, limited edition. Thank you, Dad, for your service to this country and our family. My dad is a real American hero. Yes, we thank your dad and the many millions of others that have served in the armed forces. My grandfather was included. Very proud of that fact. Thank you for the sacrifice. Just even being away from your families and the families that have to go through that as well. So again, thank you all.
I think if he hadn't won before, that'd be my pick this week.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude. Yep. I mean, that's the thing. They always bring it knowing that they're not going to win another book. Not saying maybe that's fresh from the comic shop, but maybe there'll be other contests we have. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. Moving on. We got Comic Demon in the house. It was a fairly small week. So I got to grab some older stuff that was in my bag, plus needed some more drawer boxes. I'm wondering if he meant boxers. That's none of our business really. So, but I'm just kidding. He had a whole bunch to pick from. I just had to pick this Venom one. I really liked all those, that second cover that cover on the bottom left there. All right. I'm going to show you my second fresh get of the week, Chris. Again, it's a new book.
Do it.
I just dropped my daughter's giant crayon.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Whoa! That is a giant crayon.
It's not real, guys. It's not real. It just holds crayon blocks, which really makes no sense. But, all right, here we go. My second fresh get of the week. You know, lover or hater, this is awesome. Star Wars: The High Republic is going to start killing it. I'm telling you guys right now, it is a really good series. This is the Peach Momoka Avar Chris variant cover for Star Wars: High Republic number 11.
Wow.
I'm not a huge fan of hers, but some just stick out at me, and I'm just like, yeah, this is good.
That's amazing.
This is.
I wonder if I got that. I don't think I picked that one up. The variant, that is. Yeah,
it's really nice, man.
Oh man.
But I'm high on this book either way, whether it be the variant covers. But
right.
It's been a great story, been a great addition to the Star Wars myth, and I absolutely love that. Moving on, we got good friend of the show, Azorius Tiger. He is a former guest co-host over here, getting ready for Disney Plus Day with those Marvel announcements. Finally got Black Panther #1, the first team appearance of the Dora Milaje, Okoye, and Nakia. What announcement are you looking most forward to today? This was obviously before the announcements. I can't even remember, Chris, what I was looking. I just wanted a kick-ass kind of like something. And we got some good stuff. Again, I'm sounding spoiled as fuck, but whatever. Whatever. All right, another good friend of the show, Dan De La Torre. Last time I showed you my smallest comic book. That was graded at a 9.8, I do believe, Chris, right? This week, it's my largest Marvel Treasury edition, number 16, featuring the Defenders. Look how big it is compared to one of my Defenders #1 comics. Hardest part of owning a comic like this is finding a Mylar sleeve to put it in. I'm wondering when you got this, Mr. De La Torre, if this was when you were like in your youth collecting proper, or if you've gone back to pick it up. Because I don't remember ever picking up books like this, Chris. Like I never had the option to pick up books like these treasury editions. What about you?
I don't know. I can't even really I don't really have thoughts on it because I don't really remember if there were even situations where I would.
I don't remember ever seeing them. Yeah, that's really right, cool. Right. It's very cool. Yeah. So, anyways, by the way, thanks for the shout out there, Mr. De La Torre. I don't know if we're the best. Well, you guys make it the best chat if it is. But there's so many great content providers on YouTube for comic books and stuff. But look at how many wonderful and loyal fans showed up on a Sunday. This is the best chat in all of YouTube. We truly appreciate you like no other. So, yep, really happy, very happy. All right, Chris, let's get to your third fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Oh man,
what do you got,
folks? All right, folks.
This is gonna. Okay, just do it. Just do it.
I still need to give this a press and clean. It's got a little hole, tiny little hole missing out of the cover, but still. And you know what's funny? When I went through the books, so the wife actually made a list. Do I have it? I don't know. I think I threw it away. But she went and made a whole list of what was in there. So it wasn't fully a blind buy because it was like 450 something comics. She listed everything out. I only saw a few pictures though.
Can I get a timeout?
Yes.
I just want to. Mark Lineker he wants to take a guess. I'm just going to throw it there. Let's just throw that there. Don't give it. Don't whatever.
All right. I'll get back to you on that. So basically, I knew most of the books that were in there, but when I was going through the collection after I went home, because when I went there, I was just checking the condition. I was like, okay, these are solid. My price still stands. We're good. I took them home, and there was a couple that I didn't realize were in there, and this was one. So I should have been recording I wish I would have been recording my reaction. Daredevil #2.
Ooh, I never would have guessed that.
The second appearance of Daredevil and the second appearance of Electro. So this is all book. It does have a hole. His hands, like you guys can see that hole. It's got a rip over here too. It can be pressed and look a little better, but I wouldn't put. I mean, with that hole in the rip, it's got a little 8. Somebody wrote 8 on the top there. I don't know. I put it at about a 2.0 right now. I don't know if pressing it would get it much better than that, just because of the rip in the hole. But still, even in this grade, amazing book to have. I am blown away. I mean, yeah. So this is obviously my earliest Daredevil that I have in my collection. To Mark Lineker's comment, though, I do have to say there was an Amazing Spider-Man 101 first appearance of Morbius. But what did I do last week for Fresh from the Comic Shop? Was that last week? I think it was. I had just picked up an Amazing Spider-Man 101 from A1 Comics. So I was bummed that I'd already purchased it is besides that's not true.
Nah, you're not bummed. Stop it. Come on.
At all. Because I can sell one now. I actually thought about keeping both, but I'm gonna sell one now. The one that I got from this collection is a little better condition than the one I purchased. So I still was able to upgrade, and I'm gonna sell the lower grade copy. Funny thing too, I do have a troll on my YouTube right now because I posted up my copy for my one for sale, and I just did a video saying Grail obtained, because that was a huge grail for me, ASM 101. And he was like, took you 2 weeks to flip it on the market, Grail obtained, huh? And I'm like, yeah, because I was blessed enough to come into a collection with another one. So just so everyone knows, I'm not out here freaking saying I obtained grails and then I'm flipping them. So
yeah,
made me laugh.
Full disclosure, yeah, that's ridiculous. This guy, he's he's almost a hoarder. Let's be honest. Am I right, Chris? Dude, literally.
I mean, do you want to see? And I keep telling folks this. I am such a hoarder, and you guys can look in my room that you don't see. I can't even walk in this room because there's comic books everywhere.
Yeah, which is a good thing, man. It is a good thing. That's why we love this hobby so much. All right, we love you fine people as well. We got 2 more submissions here. We got 080879 Lions, aka Serge Henderson. This is my Fresh from the Comic Shop. Shout out to Canton Comics. This is a second print of King Spawn, and so far the comic is good. Still currently reading explicit jumping points on King Spawn #1. This comic will have you guessing and have you hooked. Thank you, comic community, and thank you, Jeff and Chris. No, thank you for participating and watching it each and every week. I don't know if you're here on a Sunday. That's okay. We're never on a Sunday. All right, finally, our last submission here. Nori Jordan. This week was a fun one. Let me look at this. Come on. Oh, wow. That's a haul right there. This week was a fun one. I'm looking at the books instead of reading his comment here. This week was a fun one because I found some cheap keys. I was excited to get a second Newman copy of Inhumans 5, first Yelena Belova, as part of a cheap lot online. The best gets were from a road trip to my favorite comic shop that pays no attention to their back issues. I first found 2 copies each of Ultimate Fantastic Four 21 and 22 for $2 a piece, which is the first appearance of Marvel Zombies, which we covered earlier. Next, I came across some Darth Vader books. I don't follow Star Wars, but I do use cover price. I found a number 3, which is the first appearance of Dr. Aver. Still don't know who the hell she is, but it is $100+ book I got for $2.
Wow.
Hopefully next week is equally as lucky. Nori Jordan, that is an incredible. I mean, it's nothing compared to Chris's haul, but goodness gracious, Chris,
That's
that is
solid.
an excellent haul. All right, guys, I'm going to show you my last fresh get of the week, and then Chris and I are going to deliberate on who moves on to the semifinals here. I have a good idea who I think will. Chris, you probably have an idea as well. All right, guys, my last fresh get of the week. This one, guys, maybe I'm exaggerating. I just want to say the expression. This one went nuclear this week. It's a brand new book. Strange Academy number 13, the Art Adams variant with magic. Everybody is loving this this book. I think there's a cameo from a villain. I haven't read it yet from what I've read on the forums, but everybody's, I guess there's some fetishes around magic or something. I love Art Adams. I think he's incredible. And he's obviously knows how to draw the female anatomy. So maybe that has a factor to do with it. Anyways, I'm happy I got this. This is really a hot seller. People were selling out everywhere. And I literally walked in at 9 a.m. to Midtown Comics and got my copy. All right, Chris, that's the last fresh get of the week. We're sharing. We have a decision to make. Chris, how do you want to go about this?
I got two on mine.
I have one that clearly is just above the rest for a few reasons. No knock on anybody else.
I think I'm really thinking if we're on the same brain wavelength here, I'm thinking my one is the same one as yours, but
I know it is. I know it is. There's no way it's not. Knowing you, there's no way it's not.
Okay, well let me ask you this. I like Super Rad. Was it Super Rad? Wait, was it Super Rad?
No, it wasn't Super Rad.
He did submit this week. Oh, it was not Super Rad, but oh shoot. Oh my goodness. See, I didn't even I told myself I was gonna remember because I usually write it down on my phone. Oh my god, it starts with the R.
That's not mine. How about I just bring up mine? You want me to just bring up mine?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant
Nerds being geeks. That's mine right there, Chris.
That's my number one. That's my number one.
All right. So there's no deliberation here, really. It's just a revelation, just us revealing. All right. Nerds being geeks, you are moving on to the semifinals. This is not your first time moving on to the semifinals, but this is such a great, well-composed shot. And that everybody take note. It's just very creative how he did that. Chris, why don't we just tell these fine folks one more time how to enter Fresh from the Comic Shop? And we need to go over the criteria because we forgot to do that at the top of this segment. Go for it, Chris.
All right, folks. Again, we talked about this last week. We'll reiterate it again. No more Whatnot sponsorship for Fresh from the Comic Shop. But again, a huge thank you for helping out, doing what they did for so many months. We are still working on a prize. We will have a prize for the winner this month, hands down. So you don't have to follow Whatnot anymore, but we still recommend you guys check out Whatnot app and everything, all the good stuff that they got going on. But for Fresh from the Comic Shop, all you need to do, at least right now, is make sure that you're following us on Instagram and you post your fresh gets, leaving the hashtag FFTCS, and then of course add us at Comic Book Canon. And then of course you want to make sure you have the 3 criteria. Amazing. I'm fumbling over my words.
Okay, man. You're still
presentation.
It's
a lazy Sunday.
It really is. It's a good Sunday.
Make that presentation work. Let's bring up today's pick and show, because look at this presentation, right? The creativity, how it's all set up there, and another thing is uniqueness. I will say it's pretty unique to have a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme. And another thing that matters too is, having a unique story or some type of story that really,
means something to you.
Means something to that comic book in that pick. So all these things, the book doesn't have to be a huge key. It could be a rare book that nobody's ever seen before. All these things, folks. So again, we appreciate you guys participating each and every week. And we have one more week, I believe, this month, right? One more semifinalists to pick. Yep,
that is correct. And then, Thanksgiving. We got to figure out what we're doing for Thanksgiving. When our show is going to be.
Yeah, that's a good.
We should be talking about that offline here. Anyways, that is Fresh from the Comic Shop. Thank you all for participating. We'll have some great books will be showing off next week. All right, Chris. Right now, we're moving on to the next segment. That's right. We're moving on to the next segment. I got to say, it's a good Sunday. I mean, we still have a ton of you guys here on a Sunday night. That's great to know. The Eagles won. Hooray.
Right.
I'm sure you're all happy about that. And right now, it is the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. That's right. Actual sales data. We're not talking about throwing things to the wall, being like, you know what, this book may be hot because of this, this, or this. This is actual sales data from Cover Price. We're not sponsored by Cover Price, but we actually use it as a tool, kind of like a stock index or what have you. This list comes out on a Monday. It is now a Sunday. Usually our shows are live on a Friday, so it's kind of old, but there's still some stuff to be talking about on this list. And Chris here talks about the 3 most interesting books he sees on this list, right? We go through the top 10 quickly, and then Chris just kind of dissects it and tells you the 3 he picked and why they're interesting. So we're just going to get to it. We're just going to get to it. Am I right, Chris?
Let's do it.
Let's do it indeed. At number 10, Moon Knight number 2, the Walmart variant. Actually, I think is that Moon Knight 4 or 3? That's 3. I think it's Moon Knight 3. Moon Knight 3, Walmart variant, first appearance of Hunter's Moon. At number 9, The Eternals, number 3, first appearance of Cersei. Number 8, Avengers 232, the first appearance of Eros as Star Fox. I'm loving this, guys, by the way. At number 7, we have Strange Tales 179, the first appearance of Pip the Troll. We haven't said it. Why? I don't know. I don't know if there's spoilers at this point. It's
right.
Number 6, Marvel premiere. Number 10, the first Shuma Gorath. Number 5 is Thor. Number 6, the second print. Number 4, Morbius, the Living Vampire. Number 1, the first solo Morbius title. At number 3, we have Werewolf by Night, first appearance of Jake Gomez. At number 2, we have Eternals number 1. And at number 1, Thumbs number 1. All right, Chris. So those are our top 10 books. What are actually, just give us kind of like your first initial thoughts from that list. Well, even though this came out on Monday, and you have many thoughts.
Bring it back up. Marvel, 9 Marvel, and then Thumbs. So big up to Thumbs for pushing through all the Marvel goodness. And the thing that's going on here, folks, with Marvel, this is all this Marvel pretty much is all MCU right now for the most part. You know, Moon Knight, you know, a new character showing up there, plus a Walmart variant, whatever, and even the Thor variant, but everything else. And what else is it? It's heavily Eternals. So for my 3 picks today, there's going to be some Eternals related stuff, and there's something very important that I think that relates to why Eternal stuff being on this list it should be talked about. So number 3, Avengers 232. All right. So I think the cat's out of the bag with this one. If you haven't seen Eternals yet, seen the end credit scenes, maybe you should pause this or mute it or, you know, end the show. But I'm just going to say it. This is the first appearance of Eros as Star Fox, who did show up in the end credit scene of Eternals. Let's just look at these numbers, because this book has been on here for at least a couple weeks now. 107% increase in sales with a CGC 9.8 high of $1,000. Get this, previous high before the leak. Now remember, the end credit scene with Harry Styles playing Star Fox was leaked before the release of the film. $219. $219, and that was just a month ago. That's a 357% increase in value. So let's discuss this, folks. We got to remember that supply and demand. Supply only relates to what is available on the market at any given time. So am I stating that to justify this book sitting at $1,000 for CGC 9.8? No. But I'm stating it to let you all remember and understand that in a matter of a month. First off, this book, before the announcement, wasn't getting much attention anyways, and you could probably still find it raw in a back issue bin for $3, $4, $5, $6, something like that, right? Now it's got the attention, and there's not many 9.8s on the market, all right? You probably got people rushing to get their high grades to CGC or CBCS or whatnot, but there's not many out there. So that kind of explains why you can have such a huge jump of 357% increase in such a short amount of time. On top of the fact, and I've talked about this a lot, the 9.8 market right now is still crazy. People are crazy over 9.8 books. So this kind of goes into what we talked about for all the Disney Plus announcements and all these books for these characters that are getting their own shows or that are showing up in the MCU. What is the future of Star Fox or Eros in the MCU? You know, is it going to be in one film? Is he going to, you know, be a key player, just a background player? These things do, you know, relate to what a book's going to do on the market, but it's also how we as the fans take to these characters, how we remember these characters. And if we want to I don't want to say fall in love, but if we bond with these characters and enjoy these characters so much that it takes us back to the comic books, right? All of that is yet to be seen. There's people saying, "Oh, Harry Styles, what does the MCU do? What is Marvel doing now? This is going to bomb." You know, but hey, you know, don't knock it till you rock it, right? I mean, we ain't seen him do his thing yet, so chill. Just because he was part of a boy band don't mean nothing, right? Anyways, buy this book in a 9.8 right now. No, don't do it. Well, do whatever you want to do, right? But again, this has been a common theme, but I've been saying on these shows every week, go out and find yourself a raw copy, folks. Go out and find yourself a raw copy, please. A high raw did sell for 108. Now, I don't know what the condition of that high raw is, but let's just say hypothetically that you could find one that you might think is a 9.8 for $180 raw. You spend a little bit of money to send it to CGC, it may come back and you may be able to sell it and flip it for $4,000. I don't know, but hey, I'm very excited to see what Harry Styles is going to do with this character in the MCU. And although I do think, you know, depending on when we see him next, the book's going to probably cool down a little bit. And the CGCs, the 9.8s, if people are rushing, you know, the sellers are rushing to get their books to CGC once they get them back, and you have an influx of 9.8s on the market, supply and demand is gonna, you know, it's gonna teeter some, and watch that 9.8 come down a bit more. Is this book, again, I say this a lot too, is this book gonna be your standard back issue book anymore? Nope, those days are gone.
I agree. And, you know, everybody giving shit to Harry Styles. He was in Dunkirk. He's done some stuff. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like they're just picking a boy band guy because he's popular. Like, when have they ever failed us in terms of casting in the films? Think about it. Like, when?
Well, I will say. Can I say? I was really annoyed at Sprite in Eternals.
You know what? You saying that to me made me think, huh? She didn't annoy me. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a thought to me. The character itself kind of, I don't know, a little sour pants, but I guess he's been like that in the comic. I think it's a he in the comic. So,
yeah.
But, I mean, you'd be pissed too if you couldn't grow up. But, anyways, again, let's just give it some time. See how it goes. They really haven't failed us overall in any of the casting for Marvel. So I'm excited to see how it goes from there. All right, good one, man. So that being said, you have two more picks left. Let's get to your second pick. What do you got, Chris?
All right, pick number 2, and this is very relevant moving forward. I recently did it was like a top 10 Marvel number under, and you know, I don't use the term undervalued a lot at all. But I had 10 books, number 1 books. This book was on there. I did this a few months back. Morbius the Living Vampire, number 1, from 1992, his first solo series, for solo titled series for Morbius. This book is getting hot. Plus, it's a tie-in to the Rise of the Midnight Suns. We saw 126% increase in sales with the CGC 9.8 high sale of $225. Raw fair market value is sitting at around $16 right now, with the high raw going for $25. So again, just these 9.8s are crazy, guys. Again, another book that you're not going to see a lot of 9.8s on the market because this was a dollar bin book, you know, for the most part. So now you probably got people rushing to send those 9.8s in. So once they do, I just be very, very careful with the supply of 9.8s on the market, you know, outweighing the demand at some point. But I still think this is a very affordable, decent little key that has low risk if you're not buying that CGC 9.8. That I think, look, I talked about Morbius a lot the last couple of weeks since the trailer. I think Morbius is going to be fire. I think the movie's going to be solid, and I think Morbius is going to be in the MCU for a long time, courtesy of Sony, obviously. I think we're going to see that. So I do see this book continuing to pick up some steam, but again, just be very careful with it. It's a 90s book, early 90s book. There's a lot of them out there. So just don't go crazy on eBay or in claim sales. Go to your local LCSs, look in the back issue bins. If you can still find a nice high grade of this book for under $15, I think it's a decent buy. Hold on to it. Let's see how Morbius plays out. Because I don't think this is just going to be a one movie thing, and then his books are going to cool off. I really do feel like Morbius is going to be a mainstay in the MCU for a while.
Yeah, man, I was blown away by that trailer, to be honest with you. And it's hard for anything to do that to me. I was excited about it. I've been burnt before. But we'll see. Like, I have high hopes for it. It looks really, from the trailer, it looks really good, and it has those connections to the MCU. So again, we'll see. You could definitely find those for cheap still. How many, that was definitely a high print run early 90s, which doesn't mean anything other than the fact that they were probably available out there. So definitely be searching for those in the wild for sure. This next book, though, it's going to be a little bit harder to find in the wild, just in the, some back issue bin. Chris, set it up. What do you got?
Very interesting for me to talk about this book this week. Some of you watching may be like, really? You picked that book? But I did. And it is Eternals #1 for my #1 pick. Here's the thing, folks. The reason why I found it very interesting to talk about this book over this last week is because this film's been out in the theaters now for 2 weeks. Are we going on?
No, I think it first came out last week.
Was it last weekend?
Well, yeah, technically Thursday of last.
Or Thursday? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that when I went and saw it? I can't remember. Gosh.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh man, seems like a year ago. Anyways, this book was moving on the market after the release. After the release, we saw increases in units sold. All right. Now, here's the thing that you want to be aware of, though, because I'm not going to sell you fool's gold. The fair market value is down. The high CGC 9.8 that sold this last week was $2,100. The high on record was in May for $3,800. All right. So that is a huge difference. But let me put some things in perspective, because there's a lot of people that tend to lean on the more negative side of these things. And this is what's speculation. It just bubbles them up and they pop and all this. In May, all right, from May to October, the fair market value for this book in a CGC 9.8 hovered around $3,000. All right. That's from May to October. Now, I know we had a high sale of $3,800, but most of the sales hovered around $2,800 to $3,200, around there. Fair market value is nothing but an average. It's a moving and rolling average. You always have to keep that in mind. It's never an exact science. When you look at what the book sold for in a 9.8 this last week for $2,100, and you compare that to the moving fair market value average of $3,000 from May to October, that's roughly a 30% overall dip. Now, 30% is a large drop, guys. It is, especially for such a high, 3,000 to 2,100. That's a large chunk of money. But it sounds much more different than your 45+% drop of 3,800 to 2,100. So that's why I always try to tell you all, don't focus on individual sales so much. If we focus on individual sales so much, a lot of times there are those that are really more of outliers that kind of distort what's really going on with a fair market value in totality. So again, the interesting thing about this book is that, yes, the demand has dropped down, but now that the movie's released, units are being sold. more. They're picking up steam again, even though the fair market value is not at its peak. But what does that say to me? And it's really interesting because I had a lot of issues with this film. I've never had issues with Marvel films, even the ones that are lower on my list. I'm like, yeah, this, that, and this, but I've never been one to critique any MCU film. I think this is the first real MCU film that I critiqued, actually outside of Incredible Hulk. I need to watch it again, and I don't want to say it's a horrible movie. I think it had so much potential, and it could have did more. I think it set up so many great things, though. But it goes to show you that there's and I look at the forums, there's a lot of people that are really enjoying what they did with this film. And although I think there should have been less characters in the movie, I think it got the Justice League treatment. Too many characters trying to give too many individual backstories instead of just focusing on the mythos of the Celestials and the Eternals. There were a few characters in there. I loved Angelina Jolie's character, and I thought there should have been more of her. Cersei was great as well. I do believe these characters, they're great actors. And with the right vision and the right writers and directors, we're going to see these characters play significant parts throughout the MCU over, I don't know, the next coming years. Whether it's in in Eternals 2, or whether it's in just different films and they're showing up, right? And I think that right there is going to continue to drive the demand of Eternal stuff. Because remember, Eternals 3 was on this list too. First appearance of Cersei as we know her in the Eternals. So it just goes to show you there is demand still, regardless of how people are kind of teeter-tottering on what they thought of the film. There's so much talk about nobody wanted this movie. Nobody cared about Eternals. Well, nobody cared about Guardians of the Galaxies until James Gunn did his thing. And although, personally, I think this is far off from a Guardians of the Galaxy film, these characters are still being celebrated as seen from the movie. And like I said, I think they're going to be around and they're going to play a solid role. So I look for this book to, again, this one did have a decent dip, but I do feel that this is going to be one that does this. It's going to be a bit more volatile, but it's going to continue as a Kirby Bronze Age key comic. It is going to definitely increase for the long term. So I think it's a solid long-term investment. Is it the right time to buy? I'm never one to say if it's right or wrong, but look, it's down from where it was. It's created a new ceiling, in my humble opinion, because it's still higher than where it was before we even got any type of trailer or announcement. And I do think it's going to gradually go back up over time.
Yeah, that's a good call, man. It's a key. They're here. They're in the MCU proper. They are going to be used again in the MCU proper. No doubt about that. There is no doubt. So and it's Kirby, man. It is Kirby. It's one of the, he's just an icon, and these are his creations. And I think that fact that I'm hoping Kirby gets even more kind of much due recognition and respect with the mainstream. I really hope that's going to be happening. And Eternals is only, is one of the ways that it's going to push that forward. And I think people are going to realize the brilliance of Kirby, and that's going to be another whole aspect. I'm rambling on, but again, I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. And yeah, that was a great top 10 hottest comics of the week. We're going to have a list next week. Chris is going to pick out his 3 most interesting books from that list, and he's going to tell you why they're most interesting to him. But right there, that ends the top 10 hottest comics of the week. Christopher, this was a Sunday night, and we did pretty good. People are here talking. One thing I do want to touch upon, though, you kind of touched upon it in your top 10 hottest comics. I want to touch upon kind of what I thought about Eternals. Overall, I thought it was a decent, entertaining movie. I thought it did add to the MCU. As a movie itself, though, I thought 2/3 of it were very disjointed. The first 2/3 were really disjointed and frustrating. You said it, Dan De La Torre said it, that it's got that Justice League feel to it, where you're just trying to throw a whole bunch of shit in the blender and make it work. The last third of the film, I really enjoyed. I thought it was excellent. The film was absolutely gorgeous. It looked visually just amazing.
It did.
And I really loved those end credit scenes. I heard about everything about Star Fox. I had no idea about Pip the Troll. He came out. I was literally in the theater. I was like, oh shit. it got me, and that's what I love about those end credit scenes. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers, which is good luck for all of us for No Way Home for Spider-Man. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So overall, I thought it was a good movie. It's probably the lowest tier of Marvel films, probably within the lowest 5 in my opinion.
Yeah,
but it was okay.
Yeah, I just, what makes it tough for me is I don't think it was the worst Marvel film, but because I think of where we're at now, 13 years in, and what we expected from this film, that's why it sits so low to me. I really got to see it again. I am struggling, and I said this to you, Jeff, too. It's like the one thing that has separated Marvel, even in the comic books, from DC, Stanley came in with this grounded vision. These characters are relatable. And the thing that the MCU and Kevin Feige has done so well was make it believable. He made a talking raccoon, live action talking raccoon. Not just he, James Gunn, everyone involved. Made it believable. It's like, it's fantasy, the sci-fi, the fantasy, the superhero, the action adventure. We know that it's fiction, but it's believable and it's grounded. I miss that here. Some of the stuff was a little too loose for me to believe it, including how, in the end scene, how something happened and didn't do something to the greater. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but some of the points that I want to point out too was, like I said, what's his name? The engineer guy.
Passos. Yeah, Passos.
How he was talking he was like, I bet. Or he didn't say that, but he was talking like he was from 2021 back in 1400 BC.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you at least talk, I don't know. I know they already give everyone an English accent, but it didn't sit right to me. It's like, I don't believe this. And you know what happened? You know what you find that in? You know what you find stuff like that in is B-rated, Netflix shows or B-rated films where it's they don't have the capability of finding actors that can actually come out of a modern day. Oh, look, I'm from this era and I could portray somebody from, and I'm I couldn't believe that an MCU film had those elements. It's there was nothing convincing me that they, when they were in modern times, I liked his swag because it was believable and you adapt to modern times. But give me something different from the ages to let me know that they're evolving. That didn't sit right with me too. And I also, if you've read the comic books and understood Kirby's vision, and I know Kirby gets a lot of crap as a writer, but if you are familiar with I don't want to say ancient aliens, but that's one area. A lot of people probably watch that on the History Channel, but there's a lot of there's the 12th planet, what is it, Nubaru? There's a lot of mythology or the ancient astronauts or the missing link has to do with the aliens coming down and mating with the primates and creating the species. So much of that, of the Eternals, the Celestials mythos is so related to that. And Kirby had that in his comic books. And I felt like they didn't really implement that there. And I thought it could have been so much more we gave them technology. We gave them we helped them build the pyramids and gave them electricity and Atlantis and all these things. But all we got was him joking about a steam engine. And I'm so there was so much there wasted that could have built the foundation of the Eternals. And you know what? I'm going to say one more thing.
Please do.
I could have watched, outside of a couple references to the snap and who's going to lead the Avengers.
Yeah.
Outside of those, this could have been a standalone movie, and I would have never known that it was part of a. Although we know the implications that it's going to have to expand the universe, it still felt disconnected from that universe for some reason.
It's interesting because I believe that Eternals was never intended to be in the Marvel universe when it was published, when it was first published. I do believe that's I read that somewhere.
Oh yeah, yep.
So it's interesting you say that the film could have been a standalone thing. I don't know, man. It was just too much going on, to be honest. And I hear your thing with Fastos and him kind of just having like modern language. I don't know, man. There's a lot we can nitpick at here. I think I'm overall majority. Everybody here is probably. I would think everybody liked it, or I don't think anybody in our audience right now will say it was the best Marvel film. Not at all. So, and again, it doesn't have to be, as long as it moves the, as long as it moves the needle in the Marvel universe. We talk about this with the DCEU. That's the most important thing. And not having not be a head scratch, be like, what the hell? This makes absolutely no sense. There wasn't any. This doesn't make sense. It was just more. That's stupid, or disjointed, or So, anyways, that's my feelings. I'm excited for the next one we got coming up. No Way Home. Granted, we have Hawkeye coming out in a couple weeks, but No Way Home is going to be. I mean, speaking of No Way Home, we forgot to mention this in the news here. They're having a special event in Los Angeles, a special screening event for the second trailer of Spider-Man No Way Home. And I do believe once the screening event happens, they will release it online. It's exciting stuff. A lot of publications, a lot of like comicbook.com and those kinds of places are giving out seats to that. So if you're in LA, look it up. People are giving out seats to, you can win seats to this this special screening. So love to hear about it if you make it. Hopefully you do. And I'm excited to see that second trailer. How about you, Chris?
I don't know, man. I don't even want to watch it. I want to be so surprised. It's a catch-22,
You're not going to be able to avoid whatever is shown in that trailer.
I know. You're right. You're right.
I'm sorry, Chris. So you may as well just experience it with everybody else.
Yep.
So, anyways, we're glad you experienced this Sunday evening with us on Comic Book Canon. We're hoping that you enjoyed the Disney announcements, not only the Marvel, but obviously we had the Star Wars, but like just Disney proper. There's a lot of cool stuff on that channel. I'm super on that service. I'm super excited about it. I think it's the best value for the money, no doubt about that. But Chris, man, how you feeling?
I'm feeling like I got a lot of work to do sorting through an awesome collection that I got. And you look, since we cheated this week and had a Sunday show, guys, it's not going to be cheating. Then I'm going to pull 3 more books out of this collection.
No,
for
not cheating.
Next week's Fresh from the Comic Shop, because I technically got it this week.
It's in the week. That's fair game. Fair game, Chris. All right. So that being said, that wraps tonight's show. We will be live again next Friday. Back on Friday. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. I don't know. I think we're about to get a guest. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. But it's no matter what, we enjoy hanging out with you guys. So thank you guys all so much for spending time with us each and every week. We really, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you, literally. So until then, everybody, just be good to yourself. Enjoy the rest of the week, and just we can't wait to see you next week. Chris, give final words, because that was weak on my part.
Final words. I appreciate you all. I respect you all. We come from all walks of life to be here in this community, in this hobby. You guys support us. We are here because of you. But I will say one last thing. Homosexuality did not ruin Eternals. Peace.